Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of Source 16 News. I'm Eddie Owen. Thanks for joining us. A Hopkinsville man is in stable condition today at a Nashville hospital after a shooting on South Elm Street yesterday afternoon. Around 4:50, Hopkinsville police report 22-year-old Tavares Quarles was brought by personal vehicle to the emergency room at Jenny Stewart Medical Center with bullet wounds to both legs and the groin area. During an interview with police, Quarles stated that he was walking with another subject in the 100 block of South Elm Street when 20-year-old Lewis Smith of Hopkinsville confronted him and accused him of burglarizing his home earlier in the day. Now, according to the report, words were exchanged and Smith pulled a gun and shot Quarles one time in the upper leg. Smith was arrested by police around 7:30 last night and charged with first-degree assault. He was lodged in the Christian County Jail. Now, after Quarles was stabilized, he was transferred from Jenny Stewart to Vanderbilt Medical Center in Nashville, where he's listed in stable condition. 4 out of 5 local men have been arrested on federal indictments for allegedly selling illegal drugs to undercover agents. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or ATF, Hopkinsville Police, Chief Guy Howey, and Christian County Sheriff Livy Level Jr. announced today that the 5 men were indicted by a federal grand jury in Paducah. Police arrested 36-year-old Alejandro Daniel, 28-year-old Willie Benjamin Hodge, and 31-year-old Michael Dwayne Patterson, all of Hopkinsville, along with 31-year-old Jay Pipool of Cadiz. The 5th man, Tarvis Ranstay Haskins, whose last known address is 1818 Broad Street, Hopkinsville, remains at large. The indictments allege that Daniel, Patterson, and Pipool sold cocaine, crack cocaine, and marijuana to government undercover operatives. Haskins and Hodge, in addition to allegedly trafficking the drugs, are each charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm. Now, if anyone has any information of Haskins' whereabouts, please contact Hopkinsville Police at 270-890-1500, the Sheriff's Department at 270-887-4100, or the ATF at 1-800-ATF-GUNS. Some small community post offices are among hundreds of U.S. post offices in jeopardy of being closed. They're being closed down due to decreasing mail deliveries and budget cuts. A historic post office located in Fairview is no exception and is also being threatened of having to close its doors for good.
My understanding is if you don't have a post office, the town loses its identity. They don't have the zip code, is my understanding. They lose their identity, and then where do the people that do depend on this post office go? They'll be going to the other places with longer lines, and that's my take on closing it. I just feel like it does get enough revenue that they should be able to keep it.
Barkman says she's at a loss for words, knowing the town's only post office may be shut down.
Well, it's on a personal note for me, it's very dear to me. My husband was the postmaster here for 22 years. He passed away 2 years ago, but when he first became the postmaster, it was in the fire station, just a little one-room place, and the post office boxes were on the outside. They would get rained on, people would get rained on, and he had a vision that he would like to have something bigger for the community. So after checking around, he got some facts together regarding a modular unit and looked for the perfect place, which he found to be right here. He had to do a lot of hard work and getting all of the figures together and convincing people that this was the right thing to do, but he managed to get this post office started, and for that reason, just with all the hard work that he put into it, I really would hate to see it go.
The Fairview Post Office is located right in front of Jefferson Davis National Monument and a 200-year-old Baptist church.
It gets a lot of revenue. It's got the monument behind it, and I think it does the community a good service. I come here, even though I live an hour away, I still come to this post office just because it's friendly, it's easy to get into and out of.
Meanwhile, another concerned resident says besides the historic location, the post office itself is full of history.
Well, this post office, from my understanding from Mr. Turner, was established in 1802, and it has been a full day operation before, and was inside a building where the boxes where you got your mail inside, and then later they closed or moved to a fire department, and now they're down here at this modular building. post office has been in full service for over 200 years.
We also spoke to 3rd District State Senator Joey Pendleton, who stated that this is a federal issue.
And with the monument and everything there, I think it would be a tragedy if we lose a post office there in Fairview, because a lot of people like to come there and get postcards postmarked from Fairview because that's where the monument is. So hopefully we saved the Clifty one a few years ago, and now we're fighting to save Lafayette and Fairview, and also Olmsted and another one in my district. So we hope that they'll take a strong look at it and we will not lose these post offices out in the rural community.
He adds that the only thing that can be done is for local residents to contact their congressman. Over 200 residents have already signed a petition to keep the post office open, and a community meeting is scheduled for 6 p.m. Monday at Bethel Baptist Church to discuss the closure. A manufacturer of candles and home fragrance products in Graves County got some good news today. Governor Steve Beshear announced that MVP Group International on Industrial Drive in Mayfield will expand its operations and add 16 new jobs to its existing employment base of 110 employees. MVP, a world leader in the home fragrance market, manufactures many private label and name brand product lines, including brands such as Old South Candle Company, Colonial Candle, and Caroline Candle. The $2.5 million investment will include building upgrades and new equipment, which will allow the addition of a new product line. The Kentucky Economic Development Finance Authority helped encourage MVP Group to make the additional investment by approving tax incentives up to $515,000 through the Kentucky Business Investment Program. Well, Fort Campbell's 101st Combat Aviation Brigade held a change of command ceremony today. They welcomed a new commander while saying farewell to another. Colonel William Gaylor relinquished his command to Colonel Paul Bontrager at the local post division parade field with nearly 5,000 soldiers watching.
But you do have mixed emotions. You know, you spend a lot of time with these soldiers, and you love them, you love their families, you appreciate the sacrifices of what they're doing, and it's really, you're just honored to be in their presence. So it is sad to leave for us personally. Professionally, though, it's a wonderful thing for our unit.
Before the ceremony took place, Major General John Campbell, who is heading to Washington for his new role, named Gaylor as the new 101st Airborne Division Chief of Staff. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet held a public meeting last night at Lake Barkley State Resort Park to go over design plans with residents to possibly widen US 6880 in Trigg County. A Hopkinsville man whose family will be affected by the construction says he supports the $8.1 million project.
We're ready for it to happen. It's been so long getting ready for it. We're ready for the whole 6880 corridor to be four-lane. Yes, my mother owns 1.74 acres that will be completely taken by the roadway. Well, it was purchased for a commercial endeavor by my father, and he never followed through with putting a service station on the property. So we're ready for it to be gone. We're ready for the new bridges to come.
Transportation officials plan to reconstruct 2 miles from the end of the Lawrence Memorial Bridge at Canton to near the Kentucky 1489 intersection. Consultants with Johnson, Depp, and Quisenberry shared details and provided residents maps of the project. A McCracken County man is behind bars after an armed robbery and assault at a Marshall County residence earlier this week. The Marshall County Sheriff's Department reported today that 28-year-old James Gary Roberts of West Paducah was arrested around 5:30 yesterday afternoon and charged with wanton endangerment, burglary, robbery, criminal mischief, and assault. On Tuesday, police say Roberts knocked on the door of a Benton Bryensburg Road home, and when the victim opened the door, he pushed his way in, pulled a gun, and demanded money. Roberts then allegedly fired a shot into the television, and when the victim asked him to leave, he hit the victim with the pistol. The investigation into the incident led police to Roberts, and an arrest warrant was issued. He was taken into custody at a Native Circle home and lodged in the Marshall County Detention Center. In a story we reported last night at 10, a Callaway County man has been indicted by a grand jury on sex-related crimes. According to Kentucky State Police, 22-year-old Matthew O'Neill of Murray was arrested Thursday on an indictment warrant for first-degree attempted unlawful transaction with a minor. That's a sex act with a victim under 16, a Class C felony, and 2 counts of use of an electronic communication system to procure a minor for a sex offense, a Class D felony. State police say the investigation was initiated due to concerns of citizens in Callaway County of inappropriate behavior by O'Neill. The investigation was then presented to the Callaway County grand jury on June 16th, and a warrant was returned. O'Neill is lodged in the Callaway County Jail on a $25,000 bond. Governor Steve Beshear yesterday joined Christian and Hopkins County officials, transportation cabinet officials, state legislators, and others to celebrate the completion of the Breathitt-Pennyrile Parkway and to celebrate Governor Edward T. Breathitt, for whom the parkway is named.
As you all know, he's a native here of Christian County, served in both the legislature and as governor, and the many things that he did for Kentucky, and in particular for Western Kentucky, certainly causes us to honor him by making sure that his name is attached to this parkway.
For the first time, Beshear says Kentucky has a high-speed corridor connection from the Ohio River in Henderson County to the Tennessee border, which is important for economic development efforts.
That word connection really is important in this context because connections are a big deal. When companies are looking for a place to locate, they look at much more than just the incentives that we offer them, although those incentives are important. They look at ease of access to and from the area. Proximity to major roadways mean incoming shipments come in faster and finished products go out quicker. And both of those things are extremely important to business.
He added that it means safer and more efficient communities for the people that work for those businesses. With the completion of this final leg of the parkway in March, Beshear says it will only increase its appeal and effectiveness.
Increasing our ability to attract companies and jobs to this whole region. And folks, there is nothing more important to a Kentucky family right now than a job.
Following the remarks, local and state officials, transportation officials, and others joined the governor outside the James E. Bruce Convention Center for the ribbon-cutting ceremony.